Alright, well, hello YouTube. This is Joseph Quick here with Steve, my new male leopard gecko. He is a high white and yellow leopard gecko. So, is the leopard gecko a perfect pet for you? And there are 5 categories: handleability, care, hardiness, availability, and upfront costs. I give the leopard gecko, on a scale of 1 to 5, a 4.8. 4.8 scale. First is handleability. As you can see, he's just chilling right here on my hand. So, handling adults and subadults is relatively easy. But the reason it's a 4.5 instead of a 5 is because of the juveniles. I'm doing leopard gecko from born to adult, as Steve is. So, the juveniles and the teens, all the way up to subadult, to some subadults and adults, they're a little harder to be able to handle, but nonetheless, they're still amazing animals. So, number 2 is care. This is rated a 4 out of 5 as well. The care for these guys is so simple. So simple. Substrate, an enclosure, a heat source, whether that can be a bulb up top or a heating mat, or both, a hide, food, and water. 6 things. That's all you need. Their care is so simple and so easy. But the reason it's a 4.5 out of 5 is because a lot of people use sand. Sand causes impaction, and that can be deadly to your animals. So, this guy here is doing healthy. I've had him for about a week and a half, somewhere in that time frame. And I keep him in Lugardi reptile bedding. That's it. That's all that this little guy here stays in. You see? And another reason that they are a 4.5 out of 5 is because their tails, they can drop their tail at any time. So if you reach in there and it turns around and you grab onto its tail really hard, it could very well easily just drop the tail. And the tail still moves. Come here, Steve. So the tail still moves. It's a defense mechanism for predators that want to come up and eat it. And they'll grab it by the tail. And the tail is where all their fat is stored. And the way to tell, real quick, the way to tell a healthy leopard gecko from an unhealthy leopard gecko is automatically the tail. The thicker, the plumper the tail is, the healthier it is. So, just going over that real fast. So, that brings us on to our hardiness. I give them a 5 out of 5. They're so easy to maintain. Their temperatures are really and truly high household temperatures. So here in Texas, it's part of Texas I'm from, spring can easily be within this guy's temperature range. So once again, that's another reason why hardiness is a 5. Because on cold side, it needs to be like 75, 80 degrees. Hot spot, 85 to 90 degrees. Which, that's really easy to maintain. I'm not gonna lie. So, and then also too, they primarily eat insects. Which makes them also relatively easy to take care of. Because you can go up to any pet store and get feeder insects. Whether that be cricket, mealworms, superworms, dubias, things like that. They're so easy to maintain. So then here comes availability. Availability, I rated a 5 out of 5. Because you can go to any store that sells reptiles and you can get a leopard gecko. As I've got this guy here and his female, which are my first 2 breeding pair at the Surfentarium in Richardson, Texas. So if any of you are watching this video that are here in Denton, Texas, close to Richardson, Texas, go and check out the Surfentarium in Richardson, Texas. This is their furthest store east. Because typically they're more out west, closer to California and in California. So just real quickly wanted to give those guys a shout out. They know their stuff. But availability, you can go up and get just your regular leopard gecko at PetSmart, Petco, which I do not advise, or any other reptile store. Now, if you want to get a morph, a higher end morph, such as this guy, such as Steve here, he was about $100 because he is a high white and yellow leopard gecko. My female is a HEB albino leopard gecko. So, I'm curious as to what their babies are going to look like. So then, the next thing is upfront cost, which is also a 5 out of 5. Leopard geckos, upfront cost is so easy. You can get anything from a plastic tote, aspen bedding, a little heat lamp, heating mat, 2 hides, and they're good. Or you can go all the way up to my new Exoterra, 200. I spent about 150 for this guy and his girlfriend. But before people start putting in comments below, you're not supposed to keep 2 leopard geckos together. It is only for breeding purposes. Right now, that's it. So once she lays, he's going into his permanent enclosure. So the moment she lays eggs is the very second he is coming out of the enclosure and just going into his non-breeding enclosure, which I've got that set up as well. But leopard geckos overall are just amazing creatures, amazing reptiles. They are the easiest to maintain. I would actually say that they're easier to take care of than tarantulas. So, but that's just a matter of my own opinion. And everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But it is what it is, though. So, is the leopard gecko right for you? You have enough space, which you can actually get away with a 10-gallon tank. 10-gallon tank, enclosure, whatever you want to call it. You can get away with that. Or you could even get away with a plastic tote such as my Snake 2.0 enclosure setup on a budget. You could even get away with that. So, if you really want a reptile and your parents are telling you, it needs to be something that's going to stay relatively small, something like that, leopard gecko. Get a leopard gecko. These guys are so amazing. So calm that it is just amazing. So, yeah, leopard geckos are amazing, easy, and fun to have as a pet. Because Steve here likes to explore a lot. And also, too, they're not really that active. But here is a little bit of my stuff. How I rate the leopard gecko. Overall, once again, a 4.8. I did the math. I did do the math. But, alright. So, me and Steve are going to head on out. And I'm going to put him back with his female. Who I'll bring her out once she lays. So, have a good day. And remember, always be prepared.